in the middle of the sequence made by the predator is missing. Did the hunter take a leap before striking? Bird thought it did. Like this lion attacking a wildebeest, the predator dinosaur physically grabbed the sauropod's rear end. By doing so, the predator was dragged off its feet and forced to make a hop.
Bird actually left notes where he indicated what he thought was happening at various points along the trail. In his scenario, the carnivore was trying to grab the sauropod right here, and in his actual words here, the charging carnivore runs up with weight on its toes. Here, he thought the carnivore had actually gripped the tail of the sauropod, digging in its heels, and again, to quote what he wrote, Carnosaur sinks teeth into Brontosaur's left rump, attempts to drag down victim, foot of the carnosaur penetrates deeply into the mud.
But could a predator like Acrocanthosaurus lunge that way? Acro expert Dale Russell says yes. The beast was built for just such a maneuver.
One of the striking attributes of Acrocanthosaurus is the strength of its forearm. It had a flexible forearm with large processes on it for muscles, and Acrocanthosaurus had an extremely powerful forelimb. It's small in terms of length, but extremely thick and robust. And those arms are clearly strong enough to support the movement of an animal of that weight in attaching himself to a fleeing sauropod.
But Jim Farlow is not convinced. He feels that hopping would show up in the footprints.
Okay, well, one of the things that bothers me about the hop scenario, I think probably the thing that bothers me most about the hop scenario, is what happens here when he comes down at the end of the hop on his right foot. Acrocanthosaurus is an animal that's probably weighing, what, 2 or 3 tons as light? The animal is being pulled forward. That is a big animal going through the air in a manner where he can't control his motions for a moment. That right foot has to swing forward rapidly to catch himself so he doesn't do a massive belly flop here. Right. I would expect this to be the most hellaciously deformed footprint that you could imagine. I would expect an enormous slide mark as it's going in. I would expect the mud to be piled up. Huge rolls of mud squooshed in front of those toes as he's landing. I would expect the toes to go way down deep, to have gone well past the actual limestone layer into the underlying, or the lime mud layer into the underlying clay rock, and then an immense drag mark as the toes are coming out again. And when you look at the footprint today, you look at Bird's photos, there's none of that there. It looks like a normal footprint.
Except that it comes in from the left like this, so it piled up a lot of mud on the right.
It piled up a bit of mud.
The hop frustrates the efforts to produce the first ever animation describing a dinosaur attack based on RT Bird's trackway data. It's all a matter of timing between footsteps, and right now the animation just doesn't work. Computer animator Jason Giles goes back to basics. Using tin cans in his backyard, he lays out the pattern of the theropod tracks. He then walks himself through the sequence of steps over and over again. His aim? To fix in his own mind what the left leg of Acrocanthosaurus was actually doing in the few seconds it was in the air.
On the right.
For Thomas, the answer lies in the way modern animals move. Look at this cheetah, stalking prey on the African savanna. Like an automobile, the cheetah builds up speed by stepping through the gears. Into first, and it's walking. Now into second, and it's trotting. Then straight into overdrive. Between trotting and running, it has no third gear. It cannot jog. Now compare the way this beagle moves. As the treadmill speeds up, he goes from walking to trotting. But now look at his hind legs. In the transition between trotting and running, the hind legs break step, but stay in rhythm. The hind legs, in effect, make a small hop. Harmonizing with the pace of the prey is essential for a successful kill. Maybe Acrocanthosaurus wasn't dragged into making a hop, as Bird believed, but hopped first to get a better strike. It was a controlled move. One of the sauropod's footprints a few paces on supports this idea. A conspicuous toe drag indicates a sharp left turn.
Just put it down. Jim, you can do this so I won't put my weight on that.
What do
Try.
you want it?
Just line up those toes.
Okay, kind of like that?
Yeah. And we can see how much he's turned already. I believe the turn starts
Farlow
right
and
here.
Thomas measure out the angle of turn. The sauropod must now be aware of the danger. It's swinging to the left. And crucially, that means its tail is swinging out to the right. It's getting ready to strike the predator a blow that would knock it into the next county. But Acrocanthosaurus isn't fooled. The predator hops and strikes before the tail can be brought to bear.
He strikes here. This is the first, the Carnosaur waits until this foot is fully planted and his leftward motion is gone. The sauropod turned left there to try to extend that motion to use his only weapon, which is his great weight, but it didn't work. The Carnosaur was not fooled. He hit after the motion stopped, and that accounts for the foot drag here.
This kind of precision hunting requires special equipment. Nature has given modern predators, like big cats, a precious gift: specialized vision. Their eyes are highly sensitive to distance and movement over a wide angle of view. But did predator dinosaurs have a similar kind of eyesight? Conventional paleontology can't answer that question. There are no remains of dinosaur eyes. Their brains and central nervous systems have forever perished. But this man is anything but conventional. At Oregon University,